Yeah, my internet completely cut out. Like, fuck.
Way to kill the dramatic tension.
Yeah, fuck! Yeah, so I didn't get any of that recorded if someone responded to that.
I think
I don't.
Maggie was just kind of going on a little bit further about it.
Yeah, about it.
Okay.
That it was not a way to die.
Yeah, that I heard, and then nothing, and then as it cut out.
And then I think it was checking what I'd heard earlier. If you were receiving reports from mines, quarries, that's what we've encountered before, is these creatures seem to come up from a mine that had been overrun. And this is likely.
Some of the ones who were the two at the table, not the upset one. They sort of turn to one another and they start kind of whispering. You can't really make out what it is that they're saying. But the elf who had been speaking previously, the one in front, bows their head again. You had encountered these creatures before.
Variants, perhaps.
You know,
yes.
Very similar ones.
Do you know what drives them? Are they simply beasts?
To call it, but destruction seems to be their goal. Corruption.
Infection, corruption.
Yeah. They don't.
Do they report to some master or anything like that?
I don't actually know if I know that.
We know not for sure if they
I don't
report
know
to
that
such a creature. We only know that
yeah.
these monks seem to be under some sort of extraplanar being that controls them somewhat, gives them power, and causes them to create such creatures. We have fought them in mines, we have removed their hold from the other city, but we know little beyond that.
And you can now hear from the side, the one who had been sitting in the chair, a male voice. Well, perhaps if these... And then you can just hear dripping with disdain. Adventurers have fared so well.
He's one of those.
Against these monsters. We might put them to use. And one of the ones at the table sort of turns and acknowledges. I don't know what that would serve. Do they bring the chaos with them? Is no one going to speak of what happened earlier? These strangers come in.
That was an unfortunate coincidence.
Yes. My most distinguished lords and ladies.
Very much so.
We are regretful for the events of which we hath heard, which caused our curfew of sorts, but we sincerely tell the truth that we were not the ones responsible.
Is it not convenient? The first stranger goes missing, and now these strangers come to our city, come into our chambers, defy our laws, And he sort of like raises his hand, kind of pointing down behind all of you in the general direction of Wuria. And practically assault us in our own homes, in our most sacred of chambers.
How dumb do you think we are?
Krishana's quickly looks over to Lion.
God.
You really think if we were the one blowing up half of your city, we would be that obvious?
You can hear a shift in position from the elf behind you. Just a slight shift.
Why?
As you sort of take a slightly more aggressive stance.
I'm not even from Wildemount. Do you really think we would be dumb enough to come in, blow up, throw fireballs around near your seat of government, making ourselves already we are a conspicuous group in this city?
Well, you are human. I mean, I think that's plain enough.
You notice.
Oh dear.
Lords and ladies. I believe my lord
I thought it was a half-orc.
is trying to state that we hath no intention to bring anything but truth to thee, and if thou hast
We're doing
some
you a
forward
favor.
of ability to check, thou wouldst to know that we are telling thee the truth with everything we hath said so far.
There are spells that can, help with that.
We hath no intention of deceiving thee, we hath no intention of aggression against thee. We simply wish to speak our piece and have peace. As thou hast instructed of us.
If you are not even from Wildemount, then what finds you so far along the Menagerie Coast? This is the male elf who had spoken up before, accusingly at you.
Work.
A voice pipes up from the back. One of the back two. Oh, and pray tell, what work would that be?
Bodyguards. Caravan guards. As you've probably guessed, we're pretty handy in a fight. We could probably solve this problem for you if we wanted to. But
The one in front
like
sort of
mercenaries, but we don't, kill for a living. Just guard stuff.
mercenaries who guard but do not kill.
Well, we kill if you have to. We're not really mercenaries. Like
We're bodyguards.
bodyguard. I don't know. Caravan.
That's just
Probably a better one.
I like how Cortana is just letting Elias talk and not
We just he's her lord. She can't really just jump in and she's trying to
and Ellie's very subtly just kind of kick Elias.
None of our damage control is in the room.
Kick out of this.
None of our damage control.
We had to begin our journey here as bodyguards for a mining operation, and we have continued along the coast in seek of such work as it comes to us.
In case you didn't notice, throws these days are always the safest.
The woman in the back speaks up, the one at the table, gloves, angry hands, speaks up again. We would ask, perhaps, might you do us a service?
But
And
what's
like
thou
at
wishing
that,
us,
like
lords and
everyone
ladies?
turns to look at her. Can you retrieve the body of the first ranger?
We can do that.
If it is in the same location, we shall find it.
Yeah.
And return it to thee.
The one in the chair on the right kind of stands up a little bit, gets out of the chair. Do we really want these outsiders interfering in?
You cut out. Outside after outsiders.
Yeah.
Interfering, yeah.
Do we want these outsiders interfering any further than... Outsiders bring chaos and unrest.
Weren't you literally just the one saying maybe we solve this problem for you?
Kick Elias again.
Elias is not paying. You're gonna have to kick off.
Oh, I'm trying to keep 5 different NPCs in my head. So that was not the guy that was in the one who. This would have been the one on the far left at the food table who'd spoken up before, saying, "Do we want these outsiders involved?"
Okay.
And then the guy at the chair. Sorry.
And I retract my statement.
Elias did not say that thing.
Yes, I apologize. No, he speaks up. He's like, perhaps they could be of use. If it is dangerous outside of the city, we might not want to lose any of our own. I mean, certainly they could be expendable. And the sort of the woman, the lead, kind of turns to regard all of you. You all have been forthright, despite misunderstandings. And sort of nodding her head a little bit, while we do not speak with one voice, we are grateful. And she sort of stops and steps to the side and sort of motions to the woman at the table, who kind of picks up the phrase. If you were to retrieve our first stranger, we would be grateful. There's a pause, and then a slight shudder in the voice.
Elias probably recognizes personal loss when he sees it.
Yeah.
At this point.
And you can hear a switch in tone. And I would grant you a boon or favor in exchange for the service. She sort of bows her head.
We most graciously appreciate the council's understanding, and we would certainly return what is thine and what belongs in thy city, if it is within our power again.
Leans back. The one on the right leans back in his chair. Well, are we done yet?
Can I get a read on that guy in particular? Does he just seem like kind of an ass, or is it is there? Did I get kind of a darkness about him too?
You rolled a natural 20. So I would say your read on the figures. There is the woman, the spokesperson, the one up front. Mm-hmm. She seems to be the one very, very concerned with getting through this, getting it done, asking questions, figuring out what happened. There are the two that were far back. They had seemed largely uninterested. But they all took notice when Kirkana started speaking their language. And one of them has remained largely silent, and it's not really interacted that much, so it's hard to read. Then there's the mail at the back, the refreshment table mail. Your take on him is not a whole lot of emotional investment in what's going on, just kind of general pain for these lowly people who are here and doesn't really want to have anything to do with you, possibly why they're like way, way far away and don't want to be close to you. The ones at the table, one of them also has been very silent and unreactive up until now. One of them seems to be very upset, very angry, bristling, looking for a fight of sorts, and to just pin something, and you all seemed like very easy targets. The woman obviously had some personal connection to the First Ranger and is emotionally compromised, and her facade has slipped multiple times. The guy on the far right, everything about him screamed absolute boredom. But then he just slowly became more and more interested. And is now very curious about them. And his posture has gone from like now at this point he's bored, but you know that he's like, you can almost sense like he's really, gears are turning.
It's like affected boredom at this point.
Right.
Like, definitely, okay.
Yeah.
Definitely more interested than he was at the beginning.
Exactly. You the one at the front, the spokesperson. You have given the council much to discuss. We appreciate your presence and your candor, and we ask that you be patient with us, as there is some strife within our city, and we ask that you perhaps be accommodating to the measures that we may need to put into place to ensure that law and order remain. And she sort of nods her head.
We doth appreciate the council's time, and we hope that there can be peace again in thine city, and that this is simply a small group attempting to do something that others may not agree with, and that they shall be silenced, and peace will come forth instead. Thank thee for thine time. Most graciously, counsel. We'll politely wait for exclusion.
Yeah. And I guess I'll look directly at, let's look directly at the woman that's clearly got a very personal connection to the First Ranger, and just be like, I will bring her back.
She nods.
I can at least give you closure. I can't fix this, but I can at least give you that.
Thank you. Oh, my connection to the server has been interrupted.
Oh no.
Okay.
I can still hear you at least.
You can still hear me on audio.
I can actually still see you too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, sure. So,
I just got the same message.
oh, interesting. But the woman in front bows again, and then it sort of extends her hand as a gesture towards the exterior, and you can hear the guard that was behind you step to the side, very sort of like very stiffly and formally, like that. And then at that, the guard, who during this entire conversation, immobile and still, and directing his blade in your direction, stands at attention, gives you a very slight bow, turns on his heel, and then walks into the chamber.
Maria nods at him when he bows. It's like, she's been sitting calmly. She's like,
Right.
I'm not going to give him any reason to get angry.
He retrieves his spear and then goes into the chamber. And they stand to the side as you exit. And then basically, like, you're not even through the doorway before they're, like, closing it right behind you.
Yeah.
And, like, as soon as you step over the threshold, you hear phlegm. And, like, immediately, coming from the other direction is the dwarf.
And the moment it closes behind them, Katanas is just like...
His face is flushed, and he is livid.
Hi.
And he basically just stomps Wuria and Felice, and, like, grabs the cloak thing. I don't know if Felice has been, like, time, but he just, like, grabs it from her, stomps over to the cabinet, and, like, tears open the cabinet, and, like, he doesn't, like, throw it in, but he stops, so, like, gently places it in, and then slams the cabinet, and then just points to the exit, and doesn't even say anything. He just points to the exit, glaring at all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Head that way, behind Elias, and just, like, yeah. The moment they're out of there, you can see she's kind of, like, shaking slightly. Like, she was basically in the zone that entire time, just every bit of training she's ever had, and then it just kind of slowly slips. Like...
Yeah, Maria heads out very calmly, puts a hand on Cortanas, you know, the comforting hand on Cortanas.
Uh-oh.
I lost roll 20. Hang on.
And
I can still hear you guys.
I did not expect my training to ever come into play, honestly.
Well, you'll have to fill Felice and I in on what when.
You made a very good show in there, unlike some other people.
I may have lost my temper. But I stand by what I said.
Yeah, Cortanas is, like, looking at Elias, but, like, not showing any... Like, looking slightly regretful, but not, like, disdainful at him.
I assume
Tis a different
that no
world, my
casting in
lord.
the chamber, but...
Tis a very different world.
Exit the tree. There is a lone guard that sort of is standing at attention, and when you approach, gives you all a nod, and then sort of, like, gestures with his hand towards the main promenade and the rest of the city, and is gesturing for you all to proceed, and he'll...
All right.
Let's follow him.
Well, let's speak at the end.
Agreed.
Lost everyone's cameras.
Roll 20 suddenly being cranky. It's cool.
Yeah, that's alright.
It does. When that happened to me earlier, I went into the settings, removed all video, applied it, added all video, applied it, and it fixed itself.
Okay. So the soldier escorts you back through this, down the promenade, down the terrace. I gotta come up with a good name for that area between the city and the forest that's covered in trees. I like promenade.
That's good.
That doesn't cover the no elf zone in the middle. But he escorts you the whole way there. Yeah, everyone's still on audio though, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Roll 20 is just being.
It's just roll 20 being cranky.
Roll 20 is being.
At least it waited until now.
On me.
It didn't have dinner.
Yeah.
And once you get to, like, a certain sort of stops, and you sort of, like, turn around and look, and he just sort of salutes and then turns and walks back the other way. Because they're, like, maybe a block down from the inn, and
So look at that, guys. We're responsible enough to walk a whole block by ourselves.
I don't think our dwarf friend, whose name we never actually got,
I'm sure he would have given it.
Thinks we're responsible at all. But to be fair, he did not fill us in on the full rules.
Yeah.
Perhaps a bit too responsible.
That's on him.
It's a pretty quiet night. And so as you're all sort of, like, walking towards the inn, the light inside. The sound of a raven, Paul, is very clear, and you can see it take off. It must have been perched on the roof of the inn and fly off. Generally, Elias, you kind of know that's the general direction of where the graveyard was.
Okay. Okay.
And I think
Getting a little
that's where we will end tonight's session.
Dallas is still drinking. He doesn't know what happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, Weary and Felice have only a minimal idea of what the fuck happened.
Yeah, but Dallas doesn't even know if everybody's coming back yet.
Yeah. As soon as we get into the room, we'll explain everything, but oh my fucking god.
Yeah.
Actually, you hear a raven, and you're like, is that a raven? And then immediately you can hear them all walking upstairs.
Yeah.
Dallas is actually downstairs drinking.
Ah, okay.
Whereas it's sort of like, if you told me that magic was completely prohibited, I wouldn't have cast anything, you dumb butt.
Yeah.
You actually have to tell people the rule. She knew she was not going to ever cast anything in that chamber.
Right. But soldiers open doors and immediately see someone.
I wasn't really
They're just reacting.
I wasn't really thinking about her being particularly visible because she's so small and was surrounded by people bigger than her.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking of they would actually have to be looking for it for her that to really be notable.
Oh, they're on guard.
Yeah.
So glad I made this character without a negative charisma modifier. It's not particularly positive.
No, I mean I get why it happened, but Weria had no reason to expect that. Is my point.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean, you also just sort of expect everything's kind of peachy keen and everyone's super happy.
Yeah, like it was a perfectly. If someone had said, "Oh, and by the way, don't cast any spells," Weria would never have cast any spells. Like she would have absolutely follow the rules if she knew it was a rule.
Right.
Which is why she's a little snarky at the door.
It's more less of a rule and just as like them reacting to circumstances because the city had been on edge. They were on edge.
No, I was thinking about the part that Weria didn't hear, which was the guy in the chamber saying, "You break our laws."
Ah, gotcha.
Which the only law that they would have broken is casting magic in there.
Well, the elven word for law, it's not quite the same meaning as a human word.
Yes.
Yeah. You're speaking to an attorney, so...
Yeah. To be fair, I am a lawyer, so...
Yes, well, this also has things like dragons and fireballs.
Right, but if I hear the word law, I assume a specific thing, is my point.
Right.
But yeah, no, because that was like, whereas like I wouldn't have done it if, like, because I was assuming that, like, as I said, like, Elias and Cortanis were probably in front of her. The likelihood of anyone spotting her was low, and that's a thing where you would do.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, Elise just thinks it's stupid because she knows better than to say this, but she's just like, so first you tell us that we can't go in if we can't understand them, and then we try to take measures to understand them, and you try and kill us. What the fuck, guys? Like,
I totally understand the in-game logic of it, but Wiria's like, that was really dumb. Like,
well, yeah,
It's a really intense game.
But I mean, I feel like Felice was happy to just be like, I'm gonna stay out here then with Wiria so that Wiria's not alone, and because I can't do anything anyways in my life.
Yeah.
Well, and what would they do if literally none of us could speak Elvish?
I know. I thought about
like what if?
The likelihood of that happening in 5e is really low.
They've done because they have those scars, but they don't let you talk. So then it's like, we demand you tell us, but we demand you tell us in our language.
It's also a very specific version of Elvish.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm not sure if they would they have been okay with just standard, straightforward, simple
Or
Elvish?
would it have been the dwarf? Is that why he was so pissed off? Like, we just completely took over his job.
Yeah.
Well, I know the first time he was pissed off that we took over his job.
I mean, you didn't do anything with the lilies, so...
Yeah, I was half tempted to like figure out some kind of like metaphor or like something she could say, like as I said in my where I come from, the Lily of the Valley, blah blah blah, where the monks should do something, blah blah blah.
Luke doesn't know this yet, but like what? Oh.
I think Tosh knows it would have been a terrible idea, so she's like, nope.
Well, I mean, and it occurred to me, I was like, I don't know if it really fully would have worked because it's also like handing it off to somebody is kind of awkward and very conspicuous.
Yeah.
Here, take this flower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But did you say you could bring back the body of the?
Yes.
Yeah, put the lilies on her or something. You're like,
it's a lot less
The body of the
awkward that way, and we're pretty sure whoever would be.
I'll bring this up.
No, I know. I will, because I'm assuming Elias
No,
is
I had the same thought.
still in Felice, but yeah, I was like, oh.
I mean, I'm gonna guess that the person we're supposed to, they wanted us to contact is that lady with that seemed especially upset.
Yeah. No, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Logically.
almost
That
definitely.
seemed to be
I
very
mean, we literally heard like 3 out of 7 of them speak.
Yeah.
Four.
I'm not gonna hedge your bets on that one person.
4 of them.
Yeah,
1,
but
2, 3, 4.
But Elias was reading all their reactions.
so I was reading.
He just stayed quiet the whole time because 1, he didn't feel like pretending to be polite, and 2, it was better than to open his mouth to stick his own foot in it.
Yeah. Thank you, high charisma
Like
character.
someone.
Yeah.
But yeah,
This is fine. This is fine.
Well, thank you all for the
That was
game,
awesome.
Thank
and
you.
as always, no, that was like super stressful.
An entire game! Oh my god!
Yeah, it's like not a single initiative roll, but like kind of stressful.
That was so stressful!
I'm so glad that I
Yeah.
came from a high charisma character recently just to jump back into that shit. Terribly, but
Back into your low charisma temper.
I'm not
at least I was not
entirely
screaming
sure
about
how
how
I
like
got
Sven
out of
would in that
there.
situation.
Oh God, Sven. God,
You're-
that's been a disaster.
Crying crocodile tears.
Your potion of invisibility is what got you out. Cause
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
I was holding on to that for a long. I got that back in
I thought we had
last
that for a while.
stab.
Yep.
And so
Yeah.
I've been holding on to it, just waiting for the. I was like, I'm gonna need this at some point.
Yep. No, it was good that you had it.
No, I needed that. I needed that.
Well worth the use.
I got through like 1 and
But you
3
know, I
fourths
could
bottles
have
of
just-
wine tonight. Oh my fucking god, I needed that.
And
At least one of them is small.
Aaron.
I just drank coffee.
all right.
Yeah.
I'll take some of that wine.
Hey, someone paid money for that wine, so I will appreciate the fuck out of it that it helped me through that charismatic moment. Even though it wasn't really a charismatic moment, but
Even though no one rolled persuasion ever.
Right.
Yeah.
to be fair, that is for
That
the
was all.
fucking best.
That was just communication and talking RP. No, we don't need a roll persuasion.
But just realizing that if I had remembered the potion sooner, I wouldn't have had to try to break into a house and get through it that way.
Maybe.
Maybe, but if you accidentally went the wrong way and got caught in one of those beams, you would be revealed.
Yeah, that's true.
That would have been
That's
some
true.
bad business.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that would have been terrible.
Yeah. Fireballs go off.
Especially considering the actual assailant was using invisibility.
Yeah, like that would actually be really
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, no, trust me,
you would have
I
been-
thought of that.
That would have
Trust
been,
me, I thought about that. Like, when Velas went out there, I was thinking, this is kind of risky, but like, worst case, he's really quick. But
Yeah. So
I
I just realized.
wasn't.
I hadn't quite described like how dense and how not easy to escape that particular area was before you went
Right.
in. Yeah, it was in my head. I just had never really narrated it clearly enough.
I was picturing it differently than it actually was.
Right.
Okay, where you
So-
will find your moment to roll persuasion. We swear we'll find your moment.
Yeah, someday where you will actually use 10 persuasion. I have literally never rolled persuasion with her.
Also, I just realized
I've rolled intimidation and deception.
Your passive persuasion is too high.
the dates in Discord. I might not be around next Saturday. I'm going out of town for a friend's birthday on Saturday, so I don't know that I'm gonna be back in time. I don't know what the actual plan is. So
I could definitely use a break. Also, just to spend some extra time. Tracy had someone who finally came on board, but she put in like her 2 weeks the other day. So she's going to have to go back to like 50+ hour weeks. Having a weekend where I'm not spending half the day preparing and the other half of the day playing,
that's fair.
Good thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and then I've got some work stuff in April coming up, but we'll play March by ear as usual.
Yeah. So the next March 9th should be fine, but yeah, next weekend I think play out.
Yeah. Oh, well.
So to wait an additional week to find out what's going to happen in that graveyard.
I wasn't expecting things to get as difficult up there as they did.
I think it's fine when you have a rendezvous in a graveyard.
I know, right? I get a...
Oh, what? Velis going off on his own? You didn't think nothing was going to go wrong?
Oh no, I thought that there was a very good chance of things going wrong. I just thought that I could figure it out. I mean, I guess it was okay, but...
Do you know how excited I got when you said that you're going to go back to the city?
That's right. I was saying this is my tankard of sobriety tonight, and that's gonna like I need one.
Oh gosh.
Cortana needs one.
Oh. I really snapped at that council.
Yeah,
you did.
That was amazing.
Yes, you did. You did good.
I was just waiting for someone to make some kind of snide comment about Aiden's lineage. I'm just like, oh, we're rolling wisdom saves on this.
Yeah, I mean, that probably also would have, especially if it had been after I said it kind of snapped. Had someone made a snide comment, it probably also would have been like...
insulted the elven side.
I mean, like, oh, it's all.
The funny thing is, like,
an awkward spot given, spears being thrown at Wiria.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. He was already not happy with, like, okay, you're gonna threaten my friend. All right.
That's why by the end she was shaking after like getting through that. Oh my god.
Yeah, like what? Sorry, Katana.
I'll be next to you. But the rest of you.
I showered for the day right before I came on, but now I need to kind of go shower again.
Yeah, it got very fucking warm in here, but that might be the alcohol. But
yeah, you've had a lot of alcohol, Aaron.
You've had a lot of alcohol.
It's fine. I'm Irish. I got this.
I have seen you get drunk.
Surprisingly enough, I don't feel as drunk as I have been in the past. Which is probably why I got through that fucking conversation. Great job, guys! I'm glad we didn't die.
Yay, not death!
We haven't gotten arrested yet.
I mean, it's probably...
I was thinking last week that, like, oh yeah, so Dallas has been arrested before. This isn't a concern. This week it's, oh fuck, they're going to kill him on site.
Yeah. No, I will say, it's probably a very good thing that the spear missed Wiria, because that probably would have turned very bad very quickly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, Wiria would probably have tried to stay calm, but I can't give it a lot.
Oh, I'm pretty sure Felice would have, like, beasted out.
Elias would have, like, gone straight. It's like, oh, it's on now.
Yeah, no, if that had happened, Felice would have gone straight to, like, Wildcat Beast and
would have been like, stop, guys! Ow! Stop, guys!
I'm pretty sure Aiden probably would have said, like, okay, come on, guys. And then if, like, the fight got in, like, well, I guess we're in it.
Yeah.
Okay,
This
so we're
is
doing
exactly why Velis was stress drinking the entire time everyone was there.
I hadn't quite thought of what
You can imagine all of these things happening.
Yeah, no, I just sort of reacted as like, it's like, it would have been stressful if you'd cast spells in front of the guards at any point, but like the closer and closer you got to the actual council chambers, like, because like the verbal and non-somatic component would be fine, but like specifically a somatic component is much more obvious. And so I'm like, just the closer and closer you get, the more it'll just turn into like an instant reaction. But I never quite thought about like, what would that actually do if I started a fight? I mean, I am also glad that like every single roll I made tonight, they were all like less than 5. So
I'm just like, had that gone totally terrible, it would have turned into the interesting story of like, yeah, that time that our party got TPK'd when we went to go talk to an elven council, except for the rogue.
He was too busy drinking Or that time we accidentally overthrew an elven council. One of the two.
No.
Either way, we found the rogue.
When I found out, I was
the
trying to figure
government.
out. When I was trying to figure out that whole thing with the mentioning lilies in conversation, maybe if I did that, I was looking up like what means like hatred or being cautious. You know what the fucking flower that means hatred or being cautious? Aconite, aka monkshood. Monkshood. Fucking monkshood.
The only problem, well, actually no, you could have said that and then said what it is that you're saying because I don't know flower language.
Yeah.
Really, and so I just know that like
I was just curious, like, what could I
people
say
make
as a
up.
thing that means a bad thing? And like, oh, fucking monkshood is at the top of this list. Like, that is fucking on point.
Yeah, no, something like that would have worked. But that would have had to been like, okay, out of character, this is the circumstance. And I'm like, okay, no, I got you.
Yeah, but Chronos was like, no, I'm not fucking lying in this because she doesn't have any charisma to do deception. Doing everything she can to be, like, honest,
also, we expressly discussed not trying very hard not to lie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, Wiria was going to tell the truth, too.
Yeah.
It just only skirt the Raven Queen. Like,
Just-
that was
not-
As far as I know, she didn't say anything that was a direct lie.
No, everything you said was...
They didn't inquire as to like.
Aside from we just guard, we don't kill people.
Well, okay.
Well, that wasn't Elias didn't say that.
That was Elias being weird.
I mean, we're not like, we don't kill for hire though.
That came out, that was Elias being flustered and angry.
Yeah.
That
was an 8 charisma person.
Yeah, that was Elias having 8 charisma.
And needing to
trying to
say
say
good and not.
hired
Charisma's my dumb stat, but it's not negative.
Necessarily.
I just like how he like did an awesome thing and was like, yeah, we're hired bodyguards, like we guard.
And he immediately
Caravan, which is how we entered the town, with a caravan.
Yeah.
So
and also, literally, the fact that, like, when we got to Wildemount, we were bodyguards for the fucking...
Okay, no.
Hang on, this is
For the mining.
We've been bodyguards multiple times on this.
I did kind of backtrack and it's like,
Yeah.
but
we don't just randomly kill people.
We don't just randomly kill.
Right.
Although I do want to
some
say that
monks.
I feel like that may be our new, party tagline of, we're like mercenaries, but we don't kill.
No, it's wild times in here, bitches. Travis Willingham.
What?
Perfect.
What was that?
No, there's literally, I posted it in the Critical Role channel. There's a clip of it where Travis Willingham says, "It's wild times in here, bitches." Like, that is fucking tagline.
Yeah.
That's perfect, actually.
It's very Travis. It's very panicky
Unintentionally our tagline.
That's on brand for a lot of reasons. There are layers of appropriate.
It was after he got hit with 30-some points of damage from a single hit.
Yeah.
And he's just like, it's
so
wild
good.
times.
That's Travis.
It was very
So,
Travis.
I'm realizing that when I decided, being a complete D&D newbie, that I wanted to play a drow, I wasn't thinking about the social implications of it. But I'm so fucking glad I did it now because it's so much fun to have to deal with that.
It does add a additional element of challenge too.
Right, I was really thinking about the.
I mean, you know, to be fair, we
thinking about the physical disadvantages. I never thought about it because I was a baby newbie.
Yeah, we've been in a couple places where being anything other than human or elven is a disadvantage.
Yeah, that's true now.
Issue.
But now I'm actually really glad that I did it because I think it adds another layer to just interaction, and I like the difficulty of it. I like that it makes things like that whole scenario. Being something other than drow, not so dangerous. Being a drow, fuck.
Yeah, in that situation.
I like it.
A whole new layer.
Yep.
I'm glad I did it.
Complication.
My trash boy. Will you please stop screaming at everything?
Yeah. Oh gosh.
No, so the reason I said what I did though about liking that particular kind of arrogant asshole character way too much is because I have one of those arrogant asshole characters way too much, and I have 2 commissions of him on my wall.
Nice.
That one, and then this one's gonna be a little more difficult because it's big.
Yeah.
Nice.
Where may trade something for tongues next time.
That's fair.
Well,
The fact that tongues is verbal and that it doesn't have a somatic component, like I didn't realize that until today. I was like, oh, that's super useful.
Yeah.
So not to say that there is not going to be social interaction but at this point, when you leave Guarden and head into the forest, you're going to be leaving the edges of known civilization, the wildlands that even the elves don't go to.
So what we do is we use Weary to haggle the fuck out of everything until we leave. Anything we need.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's just like, it's other than the fact that it's a 3rd level instead of a 1st level, it's way more valuable.
Yeah, that is the downside. It's a much more powerful spell, but it's a 3rd level spell.
Who knows? If we find the Elderwood, maybe when Weary is having tongues.
I feel like in the rare situation that you actually need the languages, it's worth the 3rd. Might be well be worth the 3rd level slot.
3rd level.
So like, I might even just trade comprehend languages for it and call it a day. Because it is a bard spell, so have that instead of comprehend languages.
Yeah, I think a lot of classes can take tongues.
Yeah.
Yeah, tongues.
Yeah.
Because wizards, because like Caleb recently used it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, just because like I have comprehend languages, but like that's not as useful. So trade it out. Yeah, it means the 3rd level, not a 1st level, but that's not the end of the world.
I'm so glad nobody died.
When Elias started snapping at them, I'm just sitting there thinking, does Velas have to find a new party?
Yeah, no, if we're
that is why she was fucking terrified.
Aiden was like amused when he first started, but then like, you know, it was more the point when he like, you know, kept building on his story and was like going too far with it. They was like, okay, shut up.
Yeah, if Weary had been there, Weary would have like mommed Elias.
Yeah. I was like, okay, what is the most formal fucking, like, nice thing she can fucking say in this circumstance? Every single bit of training from her entire life. Go!
Right.
Oh, gosh. I mean, he stands by what he said.
I mean, of course.
Weary wouldn't have disagreed with what he said.
Yeah, no. Totally didn't disagree.
Told him not to say it.
It's the fact that he said it out loud.
Yeah.
Like, that's her only way of protecting him in this case, besides, like, straight up fighting them if they caused a fight. That was her only way of doing that before it caused a fight. Like, taking it all on herself and just fucking apologizing and being the most like,
And, I mean, I think had it gone much farther, Elias would be like, no, don't apologize. I stand by what I said. Am I wrong?
And she couldn't say anything because that would probably be pretty close to an order.
Pretty close to an order, yeah. I'm like, no, you don't have to apologize.
Oh, fucking D&D, holy shit.
What a game.
I will miss this game for the week it's off.
Right? Every time we take a week off, it feels like a month.
No, I'll have a lot to prepare. A lot
Yeah.
of time to
That's fair.
Yeah.
figure out what happens next, because
Hopefully not.
I don't think anyone is begrudging you some time off.
Yeah, graveyard rendezvous.
We just miss it.
Picking up a body, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, we know where
Bringing the body back to the
body
council.
is.
Yeah.
Hoping they don't get more vigilant with their, disguise.
Maybe
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
Fellas outside of the city.
Bellis might need to
I
leave.
was thinking about that. I was actually considering
Meet
that.
us on the other side of the
Yeah.
of the city.
For a couple days, buddy.
I mean, like, there's practicality, and then there's actually genuinely not wanting to be away from the group.
Well, which is also a practicality issue because, like, you don't.
I mean, it is.
End up alone.
In Aberration Country?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing. Aberration country leading into undead country.
Undead Country is fine.
yeah, it's gonna get real spoopy real fast.
Yeah.
Spoopy!
Yeah, spoopy.
Spoopy, spoopy, spoop.
As if it wasn't fucking
Oh, that's
spoopy
cool.
so far, with fucking things bursting out of people's bodies.
I mean, I don't spoopy is the word I use for that. Like that.
Okay, gross.
That's
okay,
creepy.
gross to spoopy.
Cosmic body horror.
Yeah, like that's that. Yeah, that's really creepy. Like
That's
spoopy is
like
a little different.
Agar Geiger.
Yeah.
Spoopy is
Hmm.
I'm saying you don't have to go to bed right now.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see what they do
Yeah.
and whether Velis gets outed as a drow at some point.
Oh gosh.
Good night.
Brendan's yawning. You should probably rest.
It's later for all of
Yeah.
me.
I've been
I'm
drinking
so
I've been
awake.
drinking stimulants and depressants all night, so I'm okay. I'm also an insomniac, and I don't have kids.
I'm a bit
so-
tired, but not ready to sleep yet.
I got invited to go play some comp Overwatch, and I'm like,
Nice.
am I really in the mood to do that right now?
I might pop in a little bit later for that. I just
How about what?
My group of friends that I usually play with are trying to get some quick placements in, and I haven't done my
Okay, I should
placements.
stream. I should probably do that.
So
I haven't finished either.